Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. Welcome to my live unboxing video where I will show you my replacement model of my SDX125. If you've been following my channel, this is my current SDX125, Brother ScanNCut. And when I first unboxed it last week, you saw that I had a mat loading issue, and now that issue is resolved. Brother has sent me a new mat, and now my mat loads every time like clockwork, and it's loaded about 20 times so far successfully, and I'll just go ahead and demonstrate that. And then I need to explain why I have a new Brother ScanNCut. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I'm unloading it, and then I'm going to load my mat. Okay, it works like a charm. It's loading like a charm. So I had 3 issues when I first unboxed my ScanNCut. The first issue was mat loading. I found out that my mat was manufactured during a time that there were mat defects. So Brother sent me a new mat, and that worked great. The other 2 issues I was having were alignment issues, which I'll explain. And alignment issues have to do with when I cut my stamped images, I'm getting an unequal amount. This is like, for example, this little piggy. I'm getting an unequal amount of white space on the bottom than I am on the top. Okay, and it happened with several stamped images that I know should be correct because in the past, and here's a little piggy to show you, there's more white space on the left than on the front. And I know that that's a problem because in the past, when I have cut these same images using the SDX scanning, I'm not sorry, not the SDX, the Brother ScanNCut 2 or CM350, they cut perfectly. Here's an example of one that I cut before, and I also colored it with this little piggy set. So this is the way it should look. You should have an equal amount of white space around one side as the other. So Brother told me that I need to just keep aligning my machine and it would work, and I aligned it about 100 times and it never did align correctly. But that wasn't such an issue that I couldn't actually live with because I didn't ever get rid of my Brother ScanNCut 2. I still have it. So I had a way of cutting out stamped images. But my biggest problem of all was not being able to get wireless connected on my Brother ScanNCut. So with wireless not working, then I couldn't use many of the features of the ScanNCut that go directly with using Brother Canvas Workspace. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off this one. I'm going to move it off to the side, and my husband's going to bring in my new machine. I'm going to unbox it, but let me take out, just so I don't have to take out all these tools again, I'm going to go ahead, there's a lot of storage in here, and I'm going to go ahead and use my stylus and some of my tools again. I'm just going to unpack this because Brother obviously wants this machine back. And so I'm going to have to send it back, but let's definitely keep the tools I was using and everything like that. So let me take out this. I'm going to go ahead and take out this blade as well. But I'm going to be using the new blade and obviously the new blade and the new pen from the new ScanNCut. But I definitely will keep, like say, I'm going to keep this power cord. There's no need to set up a power cord again. All right, so let's put that off to the side and let's unbox. This machine's very heavy, so I asked my husband to help me. His name is Mike. Okay, let's see. Here we go. This is the brand new SDX125 with the brand new mat. Yay! And we're going to see about that mat and the times. Thank you very much. Okay, great. We're going to plug that in. And we have to let's get all the tape off. Okay, like before. So you need to take, when you get your machine, you need to take all this tape off. And you need to take the cardboard out. Just make sure we're in focus here. Okay, good. We'll throw that one away. Thank you. And we're going to use all the new tools that come with it. So the only thing I'm using from the old one is the power cord. Okay, he's raising the screen now. Thank you very much for your help. Now he's heading out, and hopefully we'll shut the door so my cat won't run in the middle of my filming. All right, so now I'm just going to get this little sticker off. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take out the tools. So one thing I like about this is the storage, and look at all these. There's a little pouch full of tools. And of course I'm going to use well, I don't need to use the new spatula and stylus. I can just use my old ones, but I'm definitely going to use my blade Because what if one of the problems I was having had to do with my blade holder, right? So we want to eliminate all possibilities. I'm expecting this machine to work perfectly. I'm expecting, and I'm not only expecting, I'm hoping. Okay, now also coming, so you get a blade and you get a pen. Okay. So of course we will draw something, we will cut something. I'm not just going to unbox it, I'm going to show you how to use it. Okay, so we have a pen and a pen holder, and we have a blade and a blade holder. Okay, first let's do the blade. So when you take it out, it has a little covering. So we're going to pull off the covering. And it's an auto blade, meaning the blade is in there. Unlike the CM350, which I have on my floor, where you had to set the blade depth, you no longer have to set the blade depth. Thanks for joining me, Patty. I'm glad you're here. All right, so I'm just going to unscrew that for a second to show you how sharp that blade is. But you no longer have to screw it to the right blade depth. Okay, because you just screw the lid on, you just one this tight, and then it there. There's no blade sticking out. It'll know what depth to make it because it's going to compare the depth of the paper to the depth that it needs to cut, or to the mat, and then it'll know the distance. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Okay, I'm putting that blade in the holder. Hey, Jeanette and Becky, thanks for joining me. Okay, I'm shutting the blade holder. Now, we'll use the pen later. And first let's talk about the mat. And I want to also talk about, like, I'm going to turn this to the side, and I want to talk about this. This lever, okay? It seems to be okay when I set it to 1, but they say in what I read about this lever is when you're drawing, you need to set it to 2 because it lifts the scanning plate up in the inside. And also if you have thick materials, you need to set it to 2. Okay, but most of the time I've had it at 1 and it's been fine. The only time it's asked me to set it to 2 is when I was drawing or or it thought I had thick materials. That's when it told me to set it to 2. All right, put it back on 1. Another thing about the ScanNCut SDX is it has a tray in the back, kind of like a printer where it holds the mat when it comes out. All right, here we go. The moment of truth. Let's see. I'm going to turn it on. You have to hold it a little bit longer than the ScanNCut 2 to get it to turn on, like a couple seconds. See, and then the light will come on. Okay. Now let me reach over and get my old stylus from my stylus collection. Okay, it does have a nice tilt to it, and I like it because I can tilt it to so that my viewers can get a better angle of that screen. But let's do that. Let's bring it in and talk about that. All right, so you get a nice opening screen. It's nice and colorful. Okay, the carriage is going to move away to the initial position. Keep your hands away from the carriage. Okay, let's open it back up. And we're going to say okay. Let's look at our mat. I'm very curious, aren't you, to see what kind of mat they sent me. All right, so I found out from watching another channel, Ken's Creations. He had an unboxing video, and he actually explained what these dots meant on the bottom of the mats. So for that, I was very grateful that he explained what these dots meant. So these mean, this one means the year, and this one means the month. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that means 2018. That's 8. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is excellent. That's September. That means September 2018. That is a good time for the mat because the one that they replaced mine with last time, let's see, this is my replacement mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Same. Okay? Same. So there's no reason that my brand new mat should not work. Okay? Let's take you always take the cover off. Hello, Monkey Ta 615. Okay, thanks for joining me. I'm taking the dust cover off. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that in. Yay! Yes, it is my first time live because I don't ever get a chance to do lives because of my schedule, so this is kind of cool. This one I had to do live. I said, you know what, this just came in the mail, and I said, let me do this for my viewers live. Maybe in the future I'll schedule some more lives, like a Q&A for Brother ScanNCut. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to load the mat, And it's gonna just load perfectly the first time we try it. Okay, I'm holding the back of the mat a little bit with my hand. I'm not pushing too much, I'm just holding it up. Hi, Becky. Okay, I'm hitting load. Look at that. You have no idea how awesome this is. So right away, I'm thinking my machine is definitely not a dud. My machine is already, the mat is already loading. All right, so now what we can do is try out things that I did the first unboxing that, you know, maybe did and didn't go so well. So let's try doing some of the same things over that we know should work, but maybe didn't work the way we wanted to. So one of the things that Brother's really good at is cutting out pattern paper. So let's cut out some feathers from this pattern paper and see what happens, okay? I don't know what's gonna happen. We're just hoping it comes out perfectly. So I'm gonna lay the feathers on there. And this mat's very sticky. I'm using this feather papers from Stampin' Up. It is part of the Bird Ballad suite. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna say, so we have the paper loaded, and I'll get this screen closer for you. We are going to say, and if you have any questions, of course, or comments, just go ahead or just say you're here. I'll get to see you here. And I want to give a shout out to Nola because she is one of my viewers and she later became a team member. She's the one that sent me my extra phone here so I could do these lives. I'm really grateful to her because she sent me, that way I can see what I'm filming and I can also see the chat going on. And I was like, yay, Nola. So thank you. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm scanning. So I'm going to scan the pattern paper. So we're going to say scan. And we're going to directly cut out these feathers. So I'm going to say direct cut. And now this is asking where I want to store it. I only have one choice right now. We're going to see if I get my wireless working. That's going to happen in this video. I'm going to get my wireless working. But for now, I just want to say, like, store this on the machine. Like, in other words, where are you going to store these feathers? Hi, Sherry. Is we're going to store them on the machine. I'm going to use black and white recognition mode because I have really, you know, these feathers contrast really well with the background. So let's say start, and let's just see what happens. All right, it says switch the scanner to position lever 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch it. And the reason it wants it in lever 2 is because my paper's a little frayed on top. And I think I could have just cut around that paper a little. It thinks my paper's thick, but it's not. I'm going to start again. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take my brayer. Okay. I'm not checking my alignment yet, Yvonne, because Yvonne, this is going to work right away. There's no need to check my alignment because this is going to cut out perfectly. I'm kind of saying that tongue in cheek. So of course I'm not doing alignment because you know why? I'm expecting my machine to work straight out of the box just like my CM350 did. I expect this to cut perfectly right away. So anyway, what I just did is I used my brayer because I had on my bird paper a little bit of cut feathers. And I just switched my position to lever 2, even though I didn't really need to. Because really, it wasn't thick paper, but like I said, it was a little frayed on top. I can't actually, I have a microphone on me and I can't actually run to go get scissors, so I can't cut off the frayed piece. But anyway, we're going to see these. We're not going to cut out every feather. We're just, we're just cutting out a few feathers. Sherry, at this point in time, you're going to find out at the end of this video which Brother ScanNCut I recommend. Okay, Becky, fingers crossed. Okay, so we're going to say, okay. Now, I think it did a great job scanning. That's for darn sure. Okay, let's look at that. So it scanned in all these patterns. Of course, I'm not going to cut them all out right now because we'd be here all day. So let's just go and cut out. Let's select. What I'm doing is selecting an area. So let's cut out this many feathers. Just a few. See if it works, right? Now, you can get rid of objects you don't want by ignoring small object sizes. Like I don't see many small objects there. You can't ignore object sizes too small or too big because you'll end up ignoring your feathers. Let's just ignore small objects just to show you that feature. We're going to say okay, and I'm going to now put an outline distance around my feathers because that's what I want to see work. Okay, now let me show you how it doesn't work. I can show you when I did my unboxing last week. This is what happened. This is why I'm repeating some of the same things. We have a comparison. We have a basis of comparison. So with the machine that they sent me before, there I was unboxing and I was like, like what's going on? And it was doing this. And it was, and then even after a couple alignments, it was still doing, it never got much better. So that's why we're going to try it. We're going to say, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm putting an outline distance of 0.04. I'm going to say okay. And now we're going to just go ahead and say okay again. And we're going to cut these. And so I'm hoping that we get the same amount of white space. The white space around the feather. So the auto blade is working. The machine is a lot quieter, the CM350. It's a lot quieter than the ScanNCut 2. You can see it doing its thing. The auto blade went and tested the edge of the mat, and it determined how deep is the edge of the mat. And then it went over to a part where it was going to cut. And I have been watching it, and it actually goes to the actual rectangle you selected when it does that little test to see how deep it's going to cut. And it does. That's how it determines the blade depth it needs to use. All right, so we will put these on. There's a piece of cardstock that comes with your machine. Here's the piece of cardstock. And this is the one you do the welcome project with. I can show you that just depending on how much time I have and how long my battery lasts on my phone. Well, I'm going to put these feathers on here just so you can see how they contrast with this paper. Now the machine is also faster than the other machines I've had. I'm on my third model. This machine's faster. Okay, I'm going to say okay. I'm going to unload the mat. Okay. And I'm going to... My viewers and I have been through, some of you guys know what I've been through, and you've been through the same thing. So we're going to peel off the paper. This seems like this mat's not as sticky as the last mat, which is good because not good, but when you get a new mat, you don't want it to rip your paper. You want it to be sticky at the same time, but you don't want it to rip your paper. Oh, I'm really thinking that I hit a home run with this one. Let's see. We're just going to get the paper off. All right, I'm thinking pretty darn good, right? Well, we have to use our little spatula to find out. And we have to put it on a contrasting background to find out. So the way you get these off of your mat is you just sort of, you can bend the mat a little bit. Thank you. Somebody with a V, I couldn't see, it popped up so fast. Oh my goodness, how excited. How exciting. Look at this. These are perfect. So this is what the machine should do. And you shouldn't have to align it. You shouldn't have to align it every time. In fact, I did a video on how to align it, and I think if anyone is watching this and says, my feathers are not doing that, and what the heck, then you need to watch my video. I don't think I need to align it in this video because there's more fun things to do we can do. Because really, when it's perfect, you don't mess with it. Okay, Vesta, it's like, when you, when you have a good thing, you don't need to align it again. Because if you align it, you might mess up your alignment. If it's working perfectly, only because my mat's a little sticky, it's taking me a little longer to remove this from the mat. But I hope you can see how good these feathers are. I'll put them closer to the camera in a second. I have 2 more feathers to remove, and then I have to get rid of the residue of the paper before I try to do anything else. So when you first get a mat, it's kind of sticky. And it's kind of, if you're going to start with designer series paper, or whatever you start with, it doesn't matter if you start with cardstock or paper. Sometimes the first piece of paper sort of sticks. And I've found that a baby wipe is fine for getting a little bit of residue off. Yay, Jeanette, I'm happy. All right. So let's see it close up and personal, our little feathers. And then you could do all kinds of stuff with them, you can embellish. Now, right out of the box, the machine aligned, and this is what my last machine did, and this is what I expected it to do, and this is what I'm very glad it did. This one didn't cut out all the way, but who cares, because I'm happy. There's an equal amount of white space. Now, it's not perfect. I guess, you know what? It's not quite perfect. What do you think? Do I need to show alignment? Anybody want to see the alignment? Because you know what? It's not as perfect now that I have it, now that I'm looking at it from a different angle. Yes, Don, I got my new machine. Okay, so we have a request for alignment, so let's do alignment. I was already planned on showing it because honestly, I was thinking, hey, You know, is this going to work the right time right out of the box? Okay, so to do an alignment, you need 12 by 12 cardstock. It doesn't have to be quite like, it doesn't have to be 12 by 12, meaning, okay, here's my 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm using Whisper White. I got a pack of Whisper White. But what I mean is it doesn't have to be a whole 12 long. See, this is 12 across. It has to be 12 across, but it doesn't have to be 12 long. But in other words, when you have a piece of paper like that's 8.5 by 11, that just will not do the trick. I tried that. Yes, Sherry, these machines are perfect. They should be. This one's not, but yes, my ScanNCut CM350 is perfect. It's always been. My ScanNCut CM300 was always perfect. I had to line it like, you know, once every few months, and it would stay lined. So unless my blade started losing its spring, and then I have to line it more, the blade would get wobbly. But that's not the machine's fault. All right, so to align it, we're gonna put a piece of, so here's our mat, our really good mat, sticky mat. We used it once. We're taking a piece of Whisper White cardstock out of the package. And it can be any white cardstock from the craft supply store, because I was able to, before I got the Whisper White in the mail, I was using sort of off-white and it was working, but not as good. And I was like using some cardstock I got from the craft store for like, 39 cents or something. Hey, Pooh Bear. All right, let's load. I'm going to load the mat. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm loading the Whisper White. And then I'm going to pull this closer and show you where to find it. So go home. You're going to delete all patterns. Hi, Stephanie. And we're going to go into the settings. So what we're doing right now is we're aligning it. Okay, we're going to go to the settings and we're going to scroll down. Keep going. Here. This is the feature you want. You want scanning, cutting, position adjustment. That's what you want. So we're going to click on that. The carriage and mat will move to the initial position. Okay. Hey, it spit it out again. All right, that's okay. We're going to load it again. It's telling you, though, I will tell you what it says in case it's fuzzy. It's saying, like, install the blade holder and mat with a sheet of white paper attached into the machine. Oh, shift the scanner lever position to 1. I'm putting it back to 1 like it should be. Okay, I put the machine lever back to 1 on the left, and it says start, but really I definitely need to load it again. We have 2 loads in a row. Yes, you can follow along with whatever machine you have, Stephanie, thanks. And you have this feature in the other machines, except it's even better in some of them. All right, so I loaded the mat, and I'm going to hit start. So what it's going to do is it's going to cut crosses. It's going to cut across on the right, across on the left, and then it's going to then scan in its little crosses, and it's going to align it automatically. And then I'll go ahead and cut out the feathers again, but I won't cut out as many this time because I didn't realize how long they're going to take. But instead of, oh, I found scissors. So it's doing that. So what I'm going to do is, because it's just quicker when I could have done like a half scan, which I'll show you next time. But like, I also don't want to cut out so many feathers, because really we just want to see if they're going to cut out evenly. Here, I don't care. I'm just going to go like that, just so I scan a few feathers, and we won't cut out as many. All right, so it's aligning. Now it's asking me, are these? I'm going to have to say no for this, because look what it's saying here. Let me zoom in and show you what it's doing. It's saying, are these in alignment? Is this red circle on the crosshairs? Is the red circle on the crosshairs? I'm going to say no. You know what? This one's totally not. Well, maybe from my angle, but this one is. This one's not. In the video I did last week or it could have been this week, probably was this week, I compared how to do an alignment on the CM350 or ScanNCut 2 to how to do an alignment on the SDX125. And what I really like about the other machine is I was able to just move these myself. But this machine does not let me move them. When I say no, it's going to say change the paper and try again. So what I did to change the paper to try again is I just lift up the paper. Oh boy, this paper is sticky. Yay for sticky. We're not going to always have sticky mats, but when you do, you do. Okay, so we're going to load another piece of white paper in there. And what I do is I just turn it around. Is what I do. And it's like sort of half of it stuck on my mat. All right, not half, but all right, let's see if I can turn it this way. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way. See how it even got bent up a little bit. And I'm going to make sure I have nothing sticking to my mat, so I don't want any lumps when it cuts the crosshairs. I really wish Brother would like take after Cricut and make that kind of stick. I mean, I don't want him to like steal Cricut's formula, but I do want him to be as sticky as Cricut, but not sticky enough to rip your paper like this. All right, so there we go. I just put down the paper, and now we're going to try again. Say start. Okay, so now it's feeding it in. I'm just cutting crosses in the top there. The top part of my white paper is fine, but the bottom is like, whoa. What I also thought would be fun to do is try a stamped image. So I'm ready for that as well. But it's like, first, let's see if we get our feathers to cut out correctly. So, cutting those little crosses. Are the black wheels the same as each other, or are they the same as the ScanNCut? No, the black wheels are not the same as the ScanNCut CM350, if that's what you're asking. I like the wheels on the other machine because they're made of rubber, and these are sort of made of plastic, and they're really, really smooth. All right, I guess that's better, so I'm going to say yes this time. Okay, it's asking, are these aligned? I'm going to say yes. In fact, if you don't say yes, you're just going to be on a vicious cycle. If you say no, you just got to keep loading paper, keep trying to peel your Whisper White off the mat, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to say, so it's saying that alignment settings were saved. All right, so now, although I have a little bit of white still stuck on my mat, that's okay. I'm going to put the feathers down. I'm going to show you how to do what's called a half scan, which is a new feature of this machine. I'm going to put some feathers on the mat. You can put them anywhere you want on the mat. We're going to say okay. And we're just going to go home. You're home. You have to say okay to get home. Okay, we're going to say scan. Okay, direct cut. And store it to the machine. Now, in this place where it's asking, where it asks you if you want color or black and white recognition mode, and I still use black and white because, again, there's lots of contrast. That's not the reason my images are not getting equal amounts on the outside, because really, this is black and white. To a machine, this is black and white. Because look, there's black lines around the feathers on the white background. This is black and white. There's good contrast. Okay, you don't need color recognition mode. It just takes longer, and I've never needed it in the past. Maybe I'll start needing it, but right now I'm not prepared to use it unless, like I've used it on some mermaids and some witches in the past when their hands were blending in too well with the background and there was not enough contrast. But mostly, I mean 95% of the time I use black and white recognition mode. All right, but here's what I wanted to show you. A new feature of the SDX125, a new feature meaning of the ScanNCut series, is with this model came the half scan. I like the half scan because the half scan saves you time. You don't have to keep scanning the 12 by 12 paper every time. So half scan, say okay, and we're going to start. So we're going to just scan the top half of the mat. Now, even though I've only used this machine a couple times, you saw me, it's going to still pick up all those little dirt, all that dirt. It's going to pick up the extra Whisper White that got stuck on the mat and those extra little spots. It's very sensitive, you know, and it picks up extra things. Okay, so we're going to say okay. See how it picked up all that extra stuff? So the way you get rid of those extra things is by ignoring object size. But first, you can ignore object size, but first you should just select the area you want to cut. Like just select a tiny area. I don't want all these feathers. I just want a couple feathers to show you to see if it works. So let's just get a couple feathers. In fact, I should be using a stylus instead of a spatula. But know that you can ignore the object size. So we're going to say preview. Okay. I can ignore some objects because there's still little bits over there that's selected I don't want. Oops. Don't ignore them too high. Don't ignore objects too big or you'll end up ignoring the feather itself. Let's say okay. And let's put an outline distance around the few feathers here. of 0.04. Otherwise, we're comparing apples and oranges. We need to compare apples to apples. We need to do the same thing we just did when say cut. Because how do we know this is working, our alignment, unless we try to cut the same thing over again? So it's measuring. It's measuring the depth of the mat. Now it's measuring. Now it went into the area. It didn't just randomly measure. It went right next to where it was cutting, and it put a little blade mark there. And then it knows how deep to cut. So of course, I mean, I think I might do a video on my top features, but that's one of the top features, is the auto blade of this machine. I mean, that's working pretty well, and I like how quiet the machine is. Okay, I can't tell, but we're crossing fingers. Okay, let's see. We're going to unload the mat. Again. Oh, I think it's better. And I'm not just saying that because I really want it to be better, which is like sometimes when you wish things and you hope they happen. No, this is really, I keep it real. It is actually better. So let's see. Now we have to peel these off again. And sometimes see? Yeah, that's definitely better. Put the feathers there. Use my little spatula. Yay. Yay for feathers here. I'll put them up in that. I like that there's lots of little places to put things. There's this little tray up to top. There's little trays on the side. There's little compartments in the front. Now, the only reason my paper's peeling up is because it's sticky. This will not last long. Your paper will not peel up. After a little while, they won't be very sticky, and you'll be using painter's tape or something, some trick, or resticking your mats to get things to stay. So they won't. It's not like you have to worry about watching me scrape things off the mat. This is only for today, because I'll use this after I get done here. I'm going to use this machine, and sure enough, it will definitely be all like unsticky by the end of the day. All right, so due to the time, I'm going to have to do a separate video about cutting out the stamped images, and I'll call it like cutting out your first stamped images with the ScanNCut. And I'm going to upload this live video because it's telling me my battery is getting low. I thank you all for coming. If you have questions, I'll check this question section. I'll check the chat when I'm done here, and I'll address them in the next video that I do when I cut out the stamped images. So what I plan on doing right next, after I clean my mat, I'll stamp some images ahead of time. I plan on cutting out some stamps from these two sets because I know they're going to work well, and you're going to get to find out how to cut out this little piggy and Over the Moon, these stamp sets by Stampin' Up. We'll cut them out. Thank you, Leona, for coming. Thank you all for coming. And we'll see you in the next video. This is the Papered Chef. Bye for now. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Becky. I will be ending my live video as soon as I can figure out how to get this to stop.